this week's Garage Talk, we'll talk about the F1 race at Monaco, and honestly, that's about it with that.
Was that was a race? I thought it was a parade.
It was.
Indy 500, that was a weird race. I was there. We'll talk more about that.
And Coca-Cola 600 went to Amazon Prime. It was a good broadcast, good race, I think, and we'll get more into that right now. Welcome to an all-new F1 Racing's Garage Talk. I'm DJ Fluck.
I'm Eric Richardson.
And this is not a sponsor plug, but we found out about a product called Garage Beer, which the Kelsey brothers, yes, the NFL Kelsey brothers, who are in everything right now, apparently have an ownership in this, but it's pretty good. It says the garage is always open. So, hey,
Let's have
garage,
a garage beer while
garage,
listening to garage talk.
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. So,
And it's beer flavored beer.
beer flavored beer, small batch brewed. So it's largely going to be a recap show today. We had no iRacing this week. We took it off for the holidays, and some people went to Indianapolis, and there was a race in Monaco, if you want to call it that. Arguably, the F2 was more exciting than the F1, uh, but you haven't watched a bit of it, Eric. I believe you
Yeah, I have
said
not watched a lap of the Formula One race yet.
you're not really
I don't
missing
think I'm
anything.
missing anything.
You're not missing anything. I mean, once qualifying is done, done, over. So, but the big news out of the weekend is Lando Norris has made it a championship again with his win.
Yeah, it's those three are going to stay close, I think, all season.
Yep. And Toto Wolff was mad at James Vowles for Williams holding up the Mercedes, who did not qualify well. I don't think Mercedes scored a point this weekend.
Yeah, I think they got shut out. And didn't Williams go double points?
They did. They were like eighth and ninth, I think. We got Spain coming up this weekend. It'll be the last time at Barcelona before they go to that silly Madrid circuit. Ninth, 10th for Williams.
Hey, they outscored Mercedes, so that's a great day.
3-1 or 3-0 rather. Yeah, it's just only five cars finished on the lead lap, and it basically became a pit stop contest, and it wasn't really much more than that. Pierre Gasly crashed into the back of I think it was Yuki at early on, and
Payback for earlier in the season when
yeah,
you crashed into him.
it just that's about it. Like there was the F2 race had that giant pile up on the start. I did watch the Formula 3 a little bit because it's kind of like when you watch F2 and F3, it's kind of like going to a casino outside of Las Vegas. And it's just like, if you're spending time, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a great feeder series. You're going to see the stars of tomorrow in there, a star or two of tomorrow in there. But like, you're a degenerate race fan if you're up at midnight watching F3. there's, there's no argument there. And
Sounds like something I would do.
yeah, well, that's what I was doing. I mean, I got the F1 TV subscription. I was awake. I wasn't doing anything else, so I was watching F3.
Why not? I'll put it on.
It's live. It's live content. It's late. I'm not doing anything else. It's either that or watch, one of the 8 million episodes of House Hunters. Um, which isn't, in fairness, is not a bad plan B. But besides,
Like to
I'm
make
now
that the
I'm
comedy
oh
show.
yes, and now I'm over the hill too as well. So I hit my 40th birthday over the weekend. So yes, thank you. If you knew us when we were 16, 17, 18 years old, it's pretty incredible that we're still sitting here at 40. So
After nearly being hit by a car while riding a kid's fire truck.
yeah, and yeah, lighting stuff on fire, but that's for another
My
time.
foot.
Your foot, my foot, I did that myself And then I went to Taco Bell after with the shoe that smelled like fire.
Or bottle rockets on inline skates.
Yeah, that didn't work so well. The
Yeah.
the Roman candle fights.
Aim it up.
Yep, aim it up. Profanity. And then you get it right in the chest.
Zing right by you.
Yeah, I took a Roman candle like square in the chest, and I do still have a scar on my chest. A Roman candle that hit me when we were like 18. Oh well.
That's a story for another night.
Yeah, I mean that's really it. There's not really too terribly much more to that one. Indy
Rumor
500.
has it footage still exists.
Not by me. Actually, I think I might still have the camcorder tapes somewhere, but I don't know if I have a working camcorder to play the mini DV camcorder tapes. Mini DV, yeah. They're like little VCR tapes. Yeah, that'll.
I believe I have one that still works.
So Indy 500, you were there.
Yep. It
Weird,
was weird.
a weird event. But the helicopter flyby during the parade laps, that was pretty wild.
Yeah, it was fun. I think they did it for the Oscar Mayer race or
They
something.
were practicing the lap, and I saw some people put it on social media.
So I saw that and I forgot all about it. But they entered the track like right over us. All of a sudden, we're like, wait, what? And it's like, oh, those are choppers going over. Then after they go by, you feel the downdraft from the rotors, and it's like, that's cool. And then we got the bonus. They came back around the second time. They did like a lap and a quarter and flew off over us again. So that was awesome. First time I've seen that at a race.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before. That was impressive, but you got the whole ordeal, and I do like the Tom Brady, in Indianapolis where he's not exactly the favorite person,
The
getting
reception was a very loud boo.
and the thing is Brady probably well, I mean he knows what Gronk was running his mouth on TV too about I own the Colts. I'm like, dude, Jim Irsay just died the other day. Like chill with that. Like, not cool. Uh,
Gronk is
but
Gronk.
yeah, well,
I
Gronk's.
think you almost take him with a grain of salt,
I mean, yeah, it's
especially
just
at the snake pit.
the thing with Gronk is like he gives off the stereotypical dumb football jock, but it's like I don't know if he really is that dumb. Because every once in a while, like something smart. Like he'll say something insightful, something smart on TV. And it's like, is the dumb jock thing an act? Or is he like, I don't know. I
Or
don't,
just got lucky.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's really like fits that stereotype or not. Because if he's acting, he's a fantastic actor. He pulls it off very well.
Yeah, that's funny. They introduced Brady, which makes sense because it's on Fox. He's going to be broadcasting on Fox during football season.
Is
So,
he? I thought
hey,
he had to go because of his ownership with the Raiders now.
there
Or,
was a connection there with working with Fox,
yeah, I mean, he
which is why
did.
they brought him into the
Right.
fastest seat in sports.
Michael Strahan was driving the pace car. He was amped up. Fox did this really weird, like, it was like a parody of the IndyCar commercials, but they made like Michael Strahan if he became a race car driver. Because I guess Strahan did have a lot of interest in racing, but he was just, he played football and he was too big because he was born on a military base in Germany, so he saw a lot of racing as a kid. Uh, so like he legitimately is interested in racing, and you could tell he was excited. And they had the in-car camera during the pace laps, and the guy who was in the passenger seat, who was the primary, was like, come on, pick up the pace. And then like he you hear him speed up, and then he'd start to slow down again, and then you see again, come on, pick it up. Oh man. But
That'd be a fun job.
a lot of celebrities in the crowd. they're turning it into a star-studded affair. I mean, you could tell Fox was behind some of that. Trying to think who else was there.
Keanu Reeves was
Oh
one of
yeah,
the things you showed on screen at the track.
Keanu Reeves was Townsend Bell said on the broadcast when he did the GR86 Cup, he was a simulator instructor for Keanu. And he goes, I ran into him the other day, and Keanu goes, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "What do you mean, what am I doing here? I work here." Keanu Reeves is one of the more fascinating people in Hollywood because, like, he's very, like, doesn't fit that stereotype of Hollywood. He's very soft-spoken, and he also, like, it really seems like he's a genuinely, like, caring, nice individual. Not saying, like, people in Hollywood aren't, but, like, he seems like every interaction you hear about Keanu Reeves with people is, like, super positive. I don't think the guy's ever had well, he's had some tragedy in his life, but which he says is shaped like how he is. But like, I don't think anyone's ever had a negative interaction with him, before, which is really cool. But
It was fun.
Keanu,
But
uh,
man, 500 was just wild. It
I don't, where do we
started
start?
on,
Well,
I
we,
guess, what, the third parade lap?
well, I mean, the rain for the first 30 plus minutes.
Yeah, it
Did
took an hour to get the race even going.
finally got that going,
2 years
and
in a row.
and then, well, at least they didn't have to bring out any. All right, so I guess all the drama started with Scotty Mack
Yeah, trying to warm up the tires going down the front stretch, and it just kicked on him.
just lost it. You heard him kind of punch the throttle just maybe a little too much. It just popped it right onto that inside wall on the front stretch, getting ready to get before turn one. And what was
Yeah,
the what was the
we're in the
reaction?
short shoot. We look over and like, wait, there's a car. Like everybody's just stunned.
Like, could you hear the crash from where you were sitting?
No, is the main impact was on the pit wall,
Yep,
and he came to a stop pretty much at the entry to midpoint of turn one.
yep.
So there's still
Okay,
a decent distance from where we were. But we're just watching the cars go by and getting ready. All right, we're forming up next lap. Like excitement's getting going, and
nope.
all of a sudden, like, there's a car. That's Scotty Mack over there.
Oh, that's the yellow
Then you just see
submarine.
him squat down after he got out of the car, and like, oh man, you can tell he's just.
He said it was like one of the worst experiences of his life, and
And he said he would not wish this upon his biggest
that
enemy.
they showed his in car after the crash, and you could just see he had the visor up, and you could just see in his eyes just the devastation, and he just starts punching the steering wheel like two-handed, like pounding the steering wheel. Like I just can't believe it.
Oh, it's what? We haven't really seen this since '92.
92 Roberto Guerrero, who was the pole sitter that year.
He just lost it going down the backstretch.
And funny you mentioned 92. 92 is the coldest Indy 500 ever. This was tied for the fourth coldest.
And track temperatures, I think, rivaled the '92
Yeah.
race.
Yeah, they
Because
were
they
in the
were sitting
low.
about 72
Yeah.
at most 74 degrees.
Yeah, they were in the low 70s for most of well, at least at the start. I didn't really follow what it was later on.
And you got to think, go back a week for qualifying, they were hitting 130 for track temp. So massive difference.
So then finally go green, but not for long.
On what, lap three, lap four? We took
No.
the green flag
Oh, yeah. Well, the first
and
green flag
the
lap.
official three wide
Yeah.
start was not on lap one, which is
No.
hilarious.
And it didn't last very long.
No, Jack Harvey bumped into Marco Andretti and sent him for a ride.
Did you see we'll get to the Rossi fire
Oh
in a
yeah.
bit, but did you see the social media exchange where Rossi made some comment about Marco about his Indy .5 or something like that? And Marco responded like, "Wow, you're on fire 2 days in a row," or something like that.
Well, and you got to remember they were teammates
Oh
back
yeah.
in Andretti,
Yeah.
so they're razzing each other there.
You
They
know,
have fun.
it just what we witnessed, there was just so much chaos. And it honestly like wasn't a good look for the series. And it just there were so many incidents like, with Scotty Mack wrecking on the parade lap. You've got
The cold
yeah,
temperatures, and I think some of them must have had like brake bias issues on pit
they
road.
yeah,
This
yeah.
pit road was just wild.
You had Renus VK eat it on. He said he went to hit his brakes and he couldn't stop, and whoop, round he went.
There were a
Uh,
couple other cars too that said the same thing, that they hit their brakes and just nothing.
somebody, uh,
Schwartzman, I think, was the
yeah,
other one.
Schwartzman
He ran
crashed into
over
his team.
he ran over three guys and one did get hurt a little bit.
Yeah, they said he had a foot injury. I never heard the follow up on what happened with
I don't
that.
think it was major, but enough
Like,
to get looked at.
yeah, well, I mean, you get your probably got your foot run over, or pinned against a wall by a race car. Kind of probably gonna hurt in the morning.
Yeah, we saw the like slow stop behind it, but then they show the replay of what happened and the crowd goes, "Oh,
Yeah, it was just bowling. They showed those Schwartzman on the broadcast, and they just went, ah. It was just.
that you saw he locked up, had no turn and just you're riding."
But then Ryan Hunter Ray stalled on pit road when he was,
He pit
had
from
a
the lead.
had a chance to win. Um, couldn't get it started. They're yelling at him hybrid because when you stall, you can refire with the hybrid system, and he couldn't get it going again. And that was
He
it for
lost a
him.
few laps and they could not get him moving.
Wasn't there a pit incident early, or a very, very close call where maybe somebody touched, but
Yeah, the first full field cycle, there were some close calls that were like, oh, but that always happens at Indy,
yeah. Oh
especially
yeah.
that first green flag or first caution pit for the field. And
Or any
not
time
a,
where when pit road gets really busy, there's look, think back of like '08 with Ryan Briscoe and Danica Patrick, like
it's not a 500 if
Pelot,
there's not a
yeah,
collision on pit road.
yeah, it happened to Pelot a couple, was that a year or two ago? Uh,
Yeah.
it's just, it's not Indianapolis without a pit road collision, that's for sure.
But yeah, we had the Schwartzman, VK. Oh, before we get to the next one, we had another rain delay during the race
Yeah,
that
yeah,
went
but
for 12 laps.
yeah, and it was lap 90-ish and went into, it crossed into official race territory, and I think Hunter Ray was leading at the time.
Devlin,
Well, he was, but not like,
or at the halfway
yeah,
mark.
yeah. I think Hunter Ray was leading, but the other Devlin DiFrancesco was leading the Indianapolis 500. Oh, but I mean, he was on a different pit strategy, so he pulled off, and oh man,
Fire in the pits.
oh geez, yeah, Rossi with his fire. Oh, we didn't even talk about Scott Dixon's brakes run fire during the pace laps. They're just like, just go, cool it, and just keep
Oh
going.
yeah, we smelled that one.
Yeah, you could see it clear as day on TV.
Yeah, even when he drove by the second time, it's like, oh yeah, his brakes are still on fire.
Yeah, they're just like, go, just cool the brakes and keep going. And he did, but he had problems and they had to stop. And geez, Newgarden had the fuel pressure problem after he like methodically worked his way into the top five.
I is clear, I'm not a big Penske fan, but I was kind of low-key rooting for Newgarden. It's like, man,
He
this would be something if we could see three in a row
coming
and
from
to
the back.
do it from 30-second spot. So I'm watching him throughout the race and he's moving
Yeah,
up.
they
Then he gets
basically
top five. It's like he could do
like
this.
he's there, and then at places, you have your highs and lows, and you, that was definitely a low for him.
We had the
What
one big
else?
three-car crash with Larson, Simpson, and Robb.
Stingray Rob.
But that actually started further up. I'm not going to downplay the downshift that kicked the car around, but coming off of one is right off the restart. You saw Rasmussen going slow,
Yep.
and cars were checking up and moving around. So there was a lot of chaos, and a couple cars, I think, even bumped tires there in the chute. And then all of a sudden, you just see, oh, there's cars going everywhere.
Stingray Rob's collision was pretty wild too because he hit that inside tire barrier and like head on, and that tire barrier was covered with a tarp, and all that rainwater from the rain earlier had collected on there, and he crashed into the tire barrier. You just see the water just just got a nice shower,
Yeah.
and he gets out of the car and he just stands up. He's like, "I'm okay." Oh, that guy is so goofy. I don't know what I think. Like he's showing improvement, but there's a lot of people that are like he would not be there if it wasn't for the big sponsor check he brought along with him. And
Hmm.
I mean, there's quite a few you could make that argument with. And
There's a few.
but we get to the end and we had what Louis Foster and DeFrancesco kind of towing Pillow around, who needed a little bit of
It's
saving.
what, nearly 90 or almost 100 laps that were green flagged there at the end. And so, I get it. They're on the lead lap. They have every right to stay there. It's Indy. You
Yeah,
don't know when that next caution is going to come out.
yeah, you get that caution, you're right back.
And yeah, you cycle around. But because of that, it led to one of, I think, the most boring finishes, but it's more because of the aero on these cars that it froze the field.
The other thing though is because of that last lap, those two gained a position because they stayed on the lead lap and pulled ahead of Nolan Siegel, which
Hmm.
Fox committed. There were I don't know. I was told and I saw on Reddit there were a lot of timing and scoring issues at the track, and I'm guessing Fox just taps into the track data system, and something was goofy because during the broadcast, I was texting. We had our group chat with you and Andy. And I'm like, the IndyCar app says you're on lap 56. Fox says you're on lap 51. Like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden I look up and the TV jumps from 51 to 58. And I'm like, what just happened there? Like, we did not just have like Hulu did not just skip 7 laps. And I switched over to like watching it on the antenna and it was the same thing. So I'm like, okay, it's not Hulu doing this. And then I realized, nope, the lap counter wasn't updating.
Yeah, there were some passes on track. It's like, wait, that car's not in front of that one.
Yeah, or you'd see like guys battling for second, then they drop out of the top five and to completely disappear off the score, and then all of a sudden they'd come back up like a second later. Or you know,
Weather.
Malukas and Daly were like battling towards the end, and they were flip flop, but they were like going on the score. It was just back and forth for a bit, and then but like nobody's passing anybody. So it just, I mean, it wasn't a good look, but at the same time, like I don't think we can blame Fox for that. But the cardinal sin committed by Fox was they did not show Pillow crossing the line on the broadcast. It was
The
yellow.
greatest race of the year.
It was yellow. Yeah, we saw the lights come on. They were following Pillow. He's in like turn three, and you see the light go yellow, and it caught the booth off guard. And Pillow comes around turn four. He's going down the front stretch to cross the bricks, and they cut to show Nolan Siegel in the wall. And 2 seconds, they show it for like 2 seconds maybe. Then they cut back. Pillow's already across the line. They show him in car, get super pumped up. It's like one, you didn't show you didn't show him crossing the line. Two, there was barely a mention. Like there was no mention of Siegel. Like they showed him for 2 seconds, and then it was like that was it. And like that looked like a nasty crash too.
On track, I heard, did catch him that they said, and he's out of the car.
Okay, that was, yeah. Well, I mean, I
That
knew he was
I'm
okay,
asking
but
you, who was it?
Yeah, and I said they didn't say, and I had to go. Somebody in the Discord happened to recognize the car immediately that it was Siegel. We had our Discord of people we do iRacing with. We had a on TV, and we were just kind of back and forth the whole day. And yeah, it's just that they kind of botched the finish, but the outside of Pillow finally winning on an oval, winning the the crown jewel race, it's kind of his last need for his IndyCar legacy. The big winner outside of that is David Malukas.
Man, P2.
Little, yeah, well, P3
P3 at the
until the
time.
next day when, yeah, so the race is over, but it's not over yet, folks. So Callum Ilott, Kirkwood, and
Marcus
Marcus
Ericsson.
Ericsson all failed post race tech and were moved to the last row, shifting everybody up. Well, shifting most people up. So David Malukas, who broke his wrist, never, signs for Arrow McLaren, never runs a race for him, gets fired, goes to Meyer Shank for a little bit, ends up with AJ, walks out of the Indy 500 P2 ahead of all the Arrow McLaren cars. And oh, by the way, the guy who replaced him torched his car on the last lap because he decided on lap 200 he was going to go down and touch the apron.
Yeah, back on that Siegel crash, we're watching the cars go by, and then we switch over to a screen so we can see what's happening and if Ericsson can make a move. But we heard the impact. That was a heavy hit.
It was. And but they were talking about like what happens if Marcus Ericsson wins? And it's just like with all that's happened at the Motor Speedway in the last couple of weeks, now you need to come out and say your winner was DQ'd, but and then there's the other that said you'd never have heard about it. Nobody would say a thing.
And I know Andretti's asking for a full review from IndyCar. They're looking into it.
Do do you think that they would go to the effort of covering up the winner failing post-race tech?
After you go through everything, you almost have to, as bad as that sounds.
How awful that would be. But what would be worse? That leaked out that, oh, by the way, your winner failed inspection, but they let it slide because, they didn't want to disqualify the winner after everything.
Oh, that is a decision I would not want to make.
Poor Doug Bulls. Well, yeah, there's these memes that said, oh man, that could have been us, but it wasn't. Oh man, but yep, David Malukas, your outside of Polo is your big winner and kind of gave it to the Zach Brown there. Here's what I think of you firing me before I ran a race.
Yeah, it's too bad that, granted, the outcome ended up different as is, with the DQ in there. But man, if you could have taken those two almost lap down cars out of the way, that three-car battle, maybe four-car, would have just been epic.
There was also talk too on Reddit that had Malukas been able to get by Marcus Ericsson, he might have been able to push Pillow, but it's just Ericsson couldn't make a legit challenge on Pillow, and Malukas couldn't get around him. And
The bigger problem, though, I think he would have ended up finding the same issue. Is with these cars, the first couple in line, they're going to be able to play leapfrog very easily. Is they're going to get the run and move. That third car, you have to hit everything just right to maybe have a chance. And that's a big maybe. Because really, once you get settled in and get the cars running, and shuffle out like pit road exchanges from about third, but definitely fourth, fifth on back, you're stuck because the car in front's getting so much of a draft that there's nothing you can do to get around them.
Unless you do something tad reckless, which Malukas did have a pass on the outside of turn one, which they were commenting on the broadcast that that was not a common area where you see a pass performed.
I forget who it was, but there were some cars that were trying and asking, would the outside work?
He made it work once, at least once. And
There were a few outside moves throughout the race, but it takes a mistake or somebody has to lift going into one, and then you can pounce in two or lift in three and pounce in four.
well, there was that point too on the one restart where they were like four wide heading into one with like I think it was Pillow. Pillow was the one who was like on the outside and had to back off a little bit, but Connor Daly was the big winner through there. And I want to say Malukas, I forget who the other one was, but
Yeah, that's what it is. You need the restarts and let the chaos happen there. But once you get running, you're stuck. And that's what we ended up seeing because the third car in line was P1, which is unfortunate, but that's racing.
oh, Brady. One of my friends just sent me a text that apparently when Brady was asked about Tom Brady was about asked about getting booed, he said, "Well, it was just nice to get one more successful drive in front of Colts fans." Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh. Ooh. Yeah.
That's a long rivalry that looking back now, it's in fun, but at the time, it's like, oh man, I hate this guy.
Yeah, we had '06. '06, man, where they blew that huge lead in the AFC Championship. Then he threw a pick on the final drive. So yeah, overall it was chaotic. There were some issues with the broadcast, and IndyCar heads to Detroit this week, which yeah, they had good ratings. What was it, 7.25 million or something like that was the average?
7.05
Zero
or
five.
7.2. Either way, it outdrew the Daytona 500 this
Well,
year.
Daytona 500 also had that rain delay for
Yep.
quite a while too, which didn't help things. And I think they said that like peak at one point they were over 8 million, which is good,
I
which
think
is
it's
a
about
good,
8.4
yeah, it
for
was a
a 30-minute window.
most watched Indy 500 since 2008. So
We were there.
we were there for that one. Yeah. Next
Do
year
you
it is,
think do you think the local blackout helped
it did. Oh yeah.
because they lifted it?
Yeah, I think that
Um,
definitely helped. I just, it, nowadays, I think the local blackout is dumb. Like people aren't going to be like, I'm not going to the 500 because I could just watch it on TV. Like nobody's saying that. I just local blackouts are just the dumbest thing in 2025. Like they were dumb.
Before you had probably what 90% of the track was all central Indiana natives.
Yeah. I mean, there's
But
the people that
now
travel in, but
you have majority of the track, people are traveling in and they're coming from all 50 states.
it's
I'd hate to know how many countries were represented.
they said that on the broadcast, how many all 50 states were represented, and I forget what the number, but they did say the number of countries that had representatives at the race, and it was pretty impressive.
I'm sure it
Yes.
was not a small number.
Did you see the Mercedes video where George Russell was going around asking the Mercedes crew members if they won the Indy 500, what kind of milk would you pick?
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, one of the first person he asked said he would get a vanilla milkshake. He goes, a milkshake? Because there you go, winning the Indy 500, dumping vanilla milkshake all over your head. You're like, you know what? That's actually not a bad idea.
Make for an epic picture.
Uh, well, then one of his crew members, I'm not sure who it was, actually what won as a crew member at some point on the at the Indy 500. He actually pulled up the photo of him standing next to the Borg Warner Trophy. He's like, "Oh, this guy's actually done it." it was but yeah, India's come and gone. And we head to Detroit this week for probably going to be another boring road course race. Ugh. But we
I
get
got my money on Pillow. I
probably Gateway in a couple of weeks. So the real question is, can he win at Gateway?
mean, the way he's going,
He's just
man.
he did say too that he's not going anywhere. He wants to win more Indy 500s and he's like and plus two F1 stopped calling. So I'm a little surprised about that comment, but it's good. Like if it
After everything that happened and some of the divaness that went on there for a couple years, I get it.
yeah, there was some definite diva moments there, but I mean F1 is not without its own divas.
Yes. But unless he's getting a top ride, why would you leave?
There's no point.
Hey, I'm gonna leave IndyCar as a champion and all this to go drive around in a kick.
And get fired after a season and a half because I can't do better than 18th place.
And it really is. You go from possibly being a legend and just an immortal of IndyCar, maybe drive up into ranks of a Mario and AJ and
Yeah.
Wilbur
And
Shaw. Like,
if IndyCar wants to be taken as a legitimate, serious global organization, they can't be a feeder organization for Formula One.
you need the top talent wanting to go there.
It's like Major League Soccer. It's like the opposite of Major League Soccer, where they're like, oh, here comes, 37-year-old Lionel Messi and all these other cast-offs who were once stars in Europe, coming, David Beckham in the last couple years of his career. It's like, you don't want to do that. Like, you want to build your own legit stars, and you don't want them swiped away, by F1. But we were talking earlier today that I think a really good fit for IndyCar would be Yuki Tsunoda.
It'd be fun to see. And
I
he's
think
been in
he'd
a
be.
car.
Yeah, he did that. I think I showed you the test video where he drove Alex Palou's car, and he just like, wow, this is a lot of fun. And with Red Bull leaving Honda and going to Ford next year, and him being kind of you know, Honda's guy, his only option is Aston Martin, and unless Lance Stroll decides that he wants to go play tennis or Alonso decides, okay, I've had enough of this, which both seem unlikely at the moment.
Especially if Adrian Newey working on
Yeah,
next year's car.
correct. So the question is, does Yuki drive for a non-Honda team? I mean, will he even have a seat at Red Bull next year? Does he want to stay? I mean, he probably wants to stay at Red Bull, but if Red Bull gets runs him out or says you have to go back to baby bulls, whatever they're going to call themselves next year.
I'm sure it'll be different again.
Yeah, yeah. Like one, would he accept that? Or two, would he take a reserve role? Or three, would he just flat out leave and go IndyCar, Super Formula, somewhere where Honda has a presence?
If he went to IndyCar, where would he go though?
I've heard some rumblings that Will Power is considering hanging it up. I mean, he's 42, 43, something like that.
This is a popular opinion with the partnership Malukas is
But
gonna
they're
go.
not, but he's Penske and they're a Chevy. Yeah, but yes, you were correct. Oh, yeah. Malukas is being allegedly with the technical alliance for Foyt. Yeah, Malukas is looking at being Power's successor at Penske, which here I think he deserves it.
And pulling a second at the Indy 500, that'll carry some weight. And he runs well at Gateway.
So, um, I was reading just Yeah, there was a thing on Reddit where they were asking about Carlos Munoz. Remember him from
Yep.
IndyCar? Just kind of fell off the face of the earth. He kind of ran out of sponsorship opportunity. I guess sponsorship dried out, and he just kind of disappeared despite having a decently promising career. And someone said that they were at the track, and Buddy Rice was there, a former winner of that event, and like completely incognito, like because and one of the points, a good point that was made was he probably won the Indy 500 at the worst time. Which, do you remember what year Buddy Rice won?
Oh, jeez. It was what, 98,
It
99?
was a little more recent than that, but not too far.
Oh, 2002.
Four.
Close. They all kind of blend through there.
Yeah, I mean,
That
there's
like
this
96 to 2006
yeah, the
Grand Prix was
split,
like
like peak split time. I mean, he had Ari in 97. Um, Kenny Breck is in there somewhere.
it's
Castro
98 or
Neves.
99.
Yep,
Castro
Cast
Neves was one.
1 and 2.
Yep.
Who was 03?
Gilles de Ferran.
That's right. How could I
I was
forget
at
that?
that race.
Yep. And then you had like the last pat lap pass with in '06 with
Sam Hornish
Sam Hornish
and
Jr. and
Marco
Marco. Yep.
Andretti.
So yeah, you had Buddy Rice in 2004, and then Dan Weldon in '05, and again in 011, 2011.
Because Jared Hildebrand smoked the wall out of
He
four.
smoked the wall out of four, which they played that clip 100 times in the month. The J.R. Hildebrand's like, stop showing that.
It's the Christian Leitner shot against Kentucky every March.
To show that
Really? I'm so
again,
tired of seeing that shot.
again.
I'm a Kentucky fan, so I hate that shot. It's like I see it.
Again, Christian Leitner.
It's like a Groundhog Day. Just keep reliving that game over and over.
Oh man.
That, yeah, Indianapolis.
So
Second half of Larson's double.
yeah, it went just as well as the first half. Yeah, we got
Saw a meme. It was instead of the H1100, it was the H595.
Yes.
He
Oh,
had a long day,
he did. Yeah.
and it was not a long day in reality.
Did you get to watch the Coca-Cola 600 at all?
I heard parts of it as we were driving and then got home just doing other things. And because it's on Amazon
Yep.
Prime, it wasn't set up on the TV that we're normally on. And yeah, Amazon Prime.
I I like the broadcast. I think the team that they've assembled with I think Adam Alexander is a good announcer. Yeah, Dale Jr. back in the booth again, paired up with Steve Letarte, and I think the three of them together work very nicely. I mean, they've worked together before.
From what little I heard while driving, it sounded much better, more cohesive than the cringe of Boyer and Harvick is good, but
Harvick is good. It's just yeah,
Boyer just, dude,
cringy Boyer, and then the kind of half checked out Mike Joy. It's a bummer too, because Mike Joy in his prime was the best, and it's
yeah,
just seeing.
solid.
It's kind of like when you see that elite athlete get to the end of their career, and you're just like, just hang it up, please. Just like you're damaging. I mean, I think very highly of Mike Joy. I would love to have him come on and talk because when he's been on like the Dale Jr. download and tells stories of him coming up. It's just a fantastic listen, but it's just you just see that enthusiasm isn't what it was. And he's like 74, 75 years old now. He's not young. I thought this group was good. I thought the coverage was good. Uh,
I did see it wasn't a commercial when there's 5 laps to go.
nope. And they were kind of digging at Fox too, where they had the broadcast and with like 20 to go, and it's like, we're taking you to the end, commercial free. They put up this big banner in the corner. It's like,
And we're gonna
what?
take you side by side as there's a pass for the lead
Six to
with
go.
10 to go, and we'll be right back. Then the screen fills with smoke because something huge happened. And we're back. We're under caution.
Yep, you see the safety
Okay,
crew
what
heading
happened?
over.
The big thing, Fox needs to look at these other broadcasts and see what their fans are saying. And if I'm NASCAR, I'm doing the same thing and going to Fox saying, hey, do better.
Larry Mack said something on uh what was his comments? But he basically said that yeah, he basically explained like why it's just not possible for Fox to match Prime. And
You have different limits and laws
yeah.
that govern.
The funniest part though was, every year when they would accidentally play some profanity over a radio, there'd be the apologies for the language, FCC regulations. They don't have those regulations with Prime. And when they cut to Carson Hocevar with his engine blowing up, and he just goes, "It effing blew up," and no apology, nothing. It's like, well, you heard it, folks.
Then you have FIA going, we're going to find a way to fine him even though he's not in our series
There
because
is
that's
all
unprofessional.
there is also a meme of it said Rick Hendrick when he realized that Carson Hocevar might steal a win away from William Byron, and showed this person shady figure in a hallway pushing a button, and then it cuts to Hocevar, and then the smoke starts coming out.
Yeah, Byron just dominated up until what, 6 laps to go?
Yeah. And then
Then
all of a
you got
sudden,
the
Melon
Melon
Man
Man
comes from last.
last first. That's
And
pretty cool though.
so they posted these videos of people smashing watermelons in, celebration for Ross Chastain winning. And there was this girl who dropped a watermelon off like the upper deck of a parking garage, and then she goes down and she takes the piece that like the actual fruit turned and was sitting on the pavement, and she picks it up and eats like the fruit that had been touching the pavement, and I just went, ah, gross. Because at least like when Ross does it, he picks the piece that's like sitting up that hadn't actually touched the track.
Just building up that immune system.
Just like, ooh, I hope that tar tastes good.
Just adds flavor.
Watermelon and tar.
What do you think? Does Team Trackhouse get 2 cars into the playoffs?
No, I don't think so. I
Don't
mean,
think
unless
SVG will find a road course win.
maybe. I mean, you could see Daniel Suarez in winning in Mexico. I'm thinking NASCAR secretly hopes that happens.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, Larry Mack said on Door Bumper Clear that you guys, this is just not possible on network television. We can't do an hour pre-race. We can't do an hour post-race, and yeah, the majority of the commercials were side by side. We were network television. You can't, you're just comparing an apple. It's not even an apple to an orange, it's an apple to a banana. I think he's right, unfortunately. I think that's the economics of TV. It's the whole it's such a weird thing, and this applies to a lot of things today where somebody's making a boatload of money, but it's not Fox. And I mean, cry me a river. Like, I'm sorry, Fox, that you're not super profitable. showing NASCAR. But like somebody's making money, and it's probably NASCAR, which
Yeah,
in
it's
turn is
almost fun
not,
to.
which in
It's
turn
like,
is not going to the teams. It just turns into a lawsuit, and
you would think, let's change up how we do things a little bit, and we're gonna keep the fans in, which is gonna drive more ratings and more viewers. And
I I did like that too, where they had the whole like post race show, where they had a desk set up trackside, and like William Byron came by to talk, and I thought that was great.
yeah,
I
those were
really
fun.
I really enjoyed that. I mean, the thing is, we got this little taste of Prime because it's only through like the end of June. So we got
It's what, five
Nashville,
or six races?
something like that. So we got Charlotte, we got the Nashville, we got Mexico City, we got Michigan and Pocono, I think.
Sounds right. And then they switch over to TNT
TNT, which I don't,
for what, another five races, and
yeah.
then it goes to NBC,
And it's
where
just
it's all
like,
on like USA.
yeah, it's all on USA, or occasionally they have to bump them to CNBC where you can see your stock market ticker going across the screen at the same time. Uh, yeah, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the first Prime, and I hope that they continue doing well with that. And I look forward to watching this weekend at Nashville.
Yeah, I should be around to be able to watch this weekend's race. So
Get your Prime set up on your TV. I was watching this, so we, real quick on TV before we wrap here. I finished season one of The Studio. It's 10 episodes on Apple TV Plus, and Apple TV Plus reportedly loses Apple like $1 billion a year. But like they make so much money elsewhere, they're like, whatever. Like
must be nice.
we're producing quality content. Yeah, and they are. Like, Severance is a highly rated show. They put out a bunch of movies and uh and the studio, I'm not spoiling for anyone who hasn't seen it, but episode 9, 10 are a two-parter. And when they typically do two episodes, they start the second part episode recapping the first episode. And the way they recap the first episode is the funniest, best way I think I've ever seen an episode recapped. Because they basically, what happened was they took one of the characters from the show and had him in character do the recap. It's phenomenal. I'm not going to say any more, but you got, Bryan Cranston is in both episodes. Who you haven't seen really since like the first episode, and Catherine O'Hara has been in and out throughout the season, was prominently featured. A lot of guests, like Dave Franco was in the last two episodes, and it's extremely wild and very, very funny. Just a very, very well done show. I heard it got renewed for season two, so I'm looking forward to that.
There you go. Check it out.
Check it out. But yes, we got Detroit for IndyCar this weekend. We got Spain for F1 and Nashville for NASCAR. We got a triple for NASCAR. I got Truck Friday night, Xfinity Saturday night, Cup Sunday night.
And then we'll be back at it with some iRacing action too.
We will. Lime Rock Park, which we mentioned this last week. Our final decision on the setup was mixed receipt. Yeah, the reception was mixed. There we go.
Yeah, we'll see how the race goes.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it's honestly like moving it was never an option because a lot of people put a lot of time in prepping for this thing. And I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. And just like I don't want to just abandon it a week before. I'm like, yep, we're just gonna go back to Watkins Glen. No, not doing that.
Yeah,
So
Ryan,
Lime Rock Park. We'll see you that on Wednesday night.
still got a little bit of time before Indy Series comes back in. That'll be at the start of July.
Yep. And the Bottom Split Racing Series starts on June 23rd. Go to fracingonline.com/BSRS. And perfect for beginners in oval or have very little oval experience or struggle in ovals. this series is for you. It's an ARCA Menards based series. It's 8 races. It's every other Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. I will be in and out throughout that series a few times, but I'll be mostly taking a role of producer for this one and watching. So,
You may find me in the booth, or maybe I'll join the road course race. 'Cause I am not good at road.
yeah, we're just gonna go to Watkins Glen for the road course, and I took the ARCA car out to Watkins Glen to get some lap times. I've got the schedule loaded up, and I'm kind of guessing on the times. And first time I get to the bus stop on cold tires, just lose the back end. Like, yeah, well, I could be in real ARCA.
Pretty much.
Speaking of real ARCA, Cletus McFarland causes a huge pileup, hits the pace car, and still manages a top 10 finish.
Cold trickle.
Hit the pace car.
You've hit everything else. I want you to be perfect.
He's
I need to watch
becoming.
that movie again.
It's a good movie. I might go watch it now, actually. So, oh, and yeah. So this
Yeah, how much
diecast.
longer do we have on
June
this?
June 30th is the cutoff for the diecast. So we'll get this thing in the mail. You'll have it right after the 4th of July. Got some other fun goodies here. You got yourself a Earnhardt Ganassi Racing Bass Pro Shops Jamie McMurray koozie that's gonna be in there too. Got some like little postcards too. This is thanks Winston for 33 years for the you got Lowe's Motor Speedway, you got the Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt, and then you got this kind of Coca-Cola 600 uh thing too. So you got some really cool stuff in
That's
addition
cool.
to the Byron. Yeah, I mean this is all packaged with it, so I'm not stealing it. You're getting it too. They threw that in the box with the diecast, and you're gonna get it too. So frracingonline.com/contest. Get your entry, follow us on socials, and subscribe on YouTube and all that fun stuff. And somebody will be getting this around the 4th of July.
Yeah. Get your entries in. Win it.
All right. Well, that's another week. We somehow kept it under an hour, and
That's a minor miracle,
it is.
considering it's us.
Yes, it is. Partially, I have to get up really early tomorrow too, so I had to.
We actually kept it on racing this time.
We did. We did not really go off topic outside of the TV bit at the end. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Take care.